jacket, and you got, you know, really do.
It's warmer. That's the only reason why I'm doing it. No, it's just,
The jacket looks funky with that, but the other outfit's real. This looks like you're trying to be. With your vest.
Are we good? Okay. We can call the meeting to order. Could we do roll call, please?
Commissioner Laird. Commissioner Milne. Commissioner Nicolason. Commissioner North.
here.
Chairman Friel.
Here. All right, thank you. Could you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. We're going to move on to our service awards for 2022. I'm going to read the list. I don't know if we have any of these employees here tonight, but I'm going to read this list off and the number of years of service that they've been with the county. So 5 years of service, Doug Barron, Brandon Praska, Trey Warney, Christopher L. Daniels III, Debbie J. Seidenschlag, Dylan Llewellyn, Brett Johnson, Dennis Good, Brett Brown, Dexter Bryant, Tyler Enders, Brian Maxwell, Stacia Hill, Teresa Archuleta. Those with 10 years of service are Chelsea Troutman, Cynthia Rissler, Stephanie Praska, Conan Warren, Lori Hall, Andrew Delgado, Ryan Sheets, Leslie Archer, Jared Grill, Amanda Parker, Lisette Parks, and Heather Gray. With 15 years of service are Michelle Moken, Peggy Johnson, Kenneth Jividen, Jason Lutz, Douglas Shoemaker, Tyler Hoffman, Rosalinda Jimenez, Newly Lemons. 20 years of service are Doreen Ramirez, David Mowry, Twyla Gaylord, William Arnold, Joseph Wistison, and Dan Kittinger. 25 years of service are Jason Clark, Roger Means, Robert Nelson, Jennifer Hubenthal. 35 years of service, Greta Lorenz, or Lerners, I think is her last name. And 45 years of service are Don Sabek and Ernadine Nichols. So congratulations to all those employees, and it's pretty outstanding that we have 2 employees that have been here for 45 years each. That's a long time.
Yeah, congratulations. Fantastic.
Okay, and move on to approval of the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner North to approve consent agenda is seconded by Commissioner Laird. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. I now declare the public hearing open for the consideration of the renewal of liquor licenses. The hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statute, rules of the Natrona County Commission, and other applicable laws. I would like to ask those individuals who wish to address the commission to approach the lectern and state your name and address. But first of all, I think we got ahead of ourselves here. May I have a report from the Madam Clerk?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, At this time, there are 16 liquor licenses on the agenda for renewal. This includes 10 full retail liquor licenses, 2 limited retail licenses, 3 county malt beverage licenses, and 1 retail liquor airport license pursuant to statute 1224-201. Publication requirements have been met. Also, notices have been sent to the Sheriff's Department, Health Department, County Fire, and Natrona County Planning and Zoning. At this time, I will stand for any questions.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Nicolason?
thank you. I would prefer to deal with retail liquor licenses, CC Cowboys Inc., DBA Racks, and Northern Dreams separately. Maybe after we deal with the other 14 of these. So I'd make that motion.
A motion to deal with CC Racks and Northern Dreams separately from the original list moved by Commissioner Nicolason. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner North. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll deal with those separately. Okay, at this time, I'd ask those individuals who wish to speak in favor of the renewal of liquor licenses to approach the lectern.
This is the Northern Dream. This is Northern Dreams.
Hi, sir. My name is Edward Rojas, and I do own Northern Dreams.
Okay. We're going to come back to yours, so could we wait just for a moment? We'll get through the
No
rest of
hurry.
these, and then we'll call you back up.
No problem.
Okay, thanks, sir. Are there any others that wish to speak in favor of the renewal of liquor licenses to please approach the lectern? Any others in favor of renewal? All right, at this time, I'd ask those individuals who wish to speak in opposition to the renewal of liquor licenses to please approach the lectern. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to? Okay, there being no others to speak for or against the renewal of liquor licenses, I'll now declare that the public hearing on those, other than the two that are off to the side right now, closed.
Are we gonna do Lazy Eight too?
No.
Madam Clerk, was there any comment on Lazy Eight also?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, that I would recommend renewed. However, a side note is Lazy 8 did submit the renewal as non-operational status at this time, but she has met the requirements and the recommended documentation for that status renewal.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Nicolason.
I'd make a motion to approve the renewal of those licenses, retail liquor licenses.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Nicolason, second by Commissioner Laird. Discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes, and we'll come back to CC Cowboys and Northern Dreams. So with those, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in favor of the renewal of those liquor licenses to please approach the lectern.
No, yeah, we really do need our liquor license so we can stay in business. We're not open for business right now because we are remodeling and we can't get our building permits. They just keep blocking us. I don't know why. We've tried every architect in town, every architect that we talk to, they tell us that we can't touch this project.
Sir, could I have you state your name and give me your address?
Edward Rojas, 3650 Harvey Place, Casper.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
And like I was saying, we really need our license so we can stay open after we get it rebuilt inside. But they won't give us our building permit so we can finish building.
Okay.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Nicolason.
Mr. Rojas, we heard from the director of the building department, Justin Smith. He's our building official. Do you know him?
Justin, that's the one that
Justin.
we've been talking to, yeah.
Yeah. He said that he hasn't heard from you in, I think he said months. And I have a letter from July 1st to you from Mr. Smith telling you that a code review plan needs to be prepared by a design professional licensed in the state of Wyoming is required, and there's some requirements of what that plan has to have in it.
Yes, we got those papers.
So that was July 1st, and it seems to me that quite a bit of time has passed, that you've started building an addition, and then you've moved some interior walls and removed a exterior egress, a door to the outside, that you took one of the doors out.
Oh, no, we didn't remove any of the doors.
Okay, so it's hard, I think, for me at least, to approve the renewal when our building official has notified you in writing of the problems and that you need a design professional.
Yeah, we've been trying, sir, and every architect that we talk to here in town, they'll call Justin to see what we need, and they'll call me back and say they can't touch this project because of Justin. I don't know what he's doing or what he's telling them, but there's not one architect in town that will give us the paperwork that we need. We even tried one from Sheridan, and he said that, well, I need to call the building inspectors down there in Natrona County so we can find out what we need. And half an hour later, he calls me back, he says, I can't touch that project. Everyone tells me the same thing, I can't touch the project. I don't know why they had to have come up with that sentence from somewhere. I think Justin is telling them, do not touch that project. That's what I'm thinking.
Have you asked those architects why they can't touch it, or what
Yeah,
Justin said?
I asked him, what's going on? How come you can't touch it? Well, something going on downtown. And
Anything more specific than that?
they don't tell me what. They just tell me they can't touch the project. But when it originally started, Larry Kilwine, which is my neighbor, he wanted to buy my place. He was trying to buy me out. And I told him I didn't want to sell. And from what I heard through the grapevine, that him and Justin were working together to try to get me out of there.
Well,
And I hear that there's a law that if there's a third entity trying to do that, that's totally illegal. And I talked to Larry Kilwine, and at first he was very friendly with me. Oh, I'm glad you're rebuilding. The building looks so nice. I can't wait to stop by and have a burger after work. A week later, he was trying to buy me out, and then they shut me down. Justin came. They even brought the inspectors from here, from the building. They went out there, they took measurements with their little lasers and everything.
so Mr. Rojas, you understand that with a commercial business that the public can go in and out of, you need to provide for the safety and welfare of those patrons, right? You
Yes,
understand
sir.
that?
I know that.
And you understand why it's important to the county that those protections are done, right?
I understand that, sir.
So my thought is that maybe you come in and meet with us and Justin soon, and we have a discussion about your concerns, and then he'll have a chance to respond. He had another meeting he had to attend tonight and couldn't be here tonight. He told us that, and we told him that this other meeting was important. I think it was Evansville. He had to get over there. So I think that my feeling is that we should table this and not approve it tonight, and then come back as soon as possible and have a discussion and try and get this figured out, because I don't, the county doesn't want you out of business and doesn't want to force you to sell. That's
Yeah, I
not-
don't want to
that's
sell
not the
out.
case.
I've been an entity here in this county for over 21 years already. I've had no problems. I've never been late on my, nothing, taxes, whatever. I've always been in good business.
Well, you're- And you did bring your business back into good standing, I think, with the Secretary of State today?
Yes, sir, we did.
Okay. I don't have anything further right now, Mr. Chairman.
I have a question. Do you remember any of the names, Mr. Rojas, or can you get me the names of the architects you called, the one up in Sheridan and the ones here?
Yeah, I'm sure we can.
Well, I want you to do that.
Okay.
I want to know who they are.
Yeah, I know one for sure. His name is Perry Gilbert.
Perry Gilbert. And what did he tell you?
And then his buddy works for the same company. His name is Brandon. I don't know his last name. But Perry's a friend of mine too. We play pool in the leagues together. And I told him about it and he says, okay, let me see what I can do for you, Ed. Half an hour later, he calls me back and he says, I can't touch that project.
Perry said that to you.
Yes, sir. The same thing. They all tell me the same thing.
And Brandon,
That was his,
is it Brandon Daigle?
I can't remember their last name, but they both work for the same company.
Okay.
And the guy from Sheridan, I can't remember his name right offhand, but I know my daughter has it because they have all those records over there.
We need to get that information.
We can do that, sir. Because I've called, I don't know how many architects here in town. I just look in the phone book
Yeah.
or in my phone, architects, pick one out, call them. I'll call you back in a little bit. Got to find out what they need downtown. I can't touch
Well,
this
Mr.
project.
Nicolais is right on when he tells you we have to follow the rules, and you have to do certain things with building properties where the public come in. and
Yes,
it has
sir,
to
I
be all
understand that.
okayed and all that. So we've got to check that out, because you're going to have to do that.
Yeah,
You've got to
for
follow
sure.
the law.
And see, the thing that they had problem with out there when they went to go look and take their measurements with their little lights and stuff is that the doors open into the building instead of out of the building. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only thing they told me about that was wrong.
Well, I think that the letter points out a few additional things, and my understanding is that you're wanting to put in a commercial kitchen and some sort of kitchen.
Yes, sir.
And-
A little
and-
grill, like a bar and grill.
Yeah, and so there are additional requirements to put in a kitchen, a commercial kitchen. It's not like
Yeah, we
just
gotta
putting
have.
one in at your house or my house.
We gotta put an overhead and all the safety stuff inside. I know that. We have it all. We're just waiting for them to give us the permission to go ahead and finish building.
And my understanding, though, is that you did quite a bit of this work before going and getting any permits, right?
All we have done was we stuccoed the outside of the building. That's kind of like a paint job. We've done that. We tore out the old stage and built a new stage where the old one was. And we put up the frame for the bar. Other than that, we don't have any appliances in there. We don't even have electric in there right now.
Thank you.
Did you add any building onto it or make any building bigger or something?
We were gonna build a extra room on the backside of it to put a little liquor store back there, but we never got that done. We got the foundation of it, that was it. When we started building that foundation, that's when Kilwine came over, the neighbor, and he saw what we was doing, and that's when he called Justin or whoever.
This picture shows some construction.
Can I take a look?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about, that frame right there?
Yeah,
That's all we've done. That's the only construction.
but you didn't
we've
get a
done.
permit for that yet.
No, sir. That's
Okay.
what we were trying to get the permit for.
Okay. You just gotta follow the rules is what they're telling you.
When they
yeah.
came out there, they seen everything. They seen that frame. And I can't remember his name. He was an older guy, probably 70 years old.
Go back to that podium if you would, so you can talk into the microphone.
Anyways, was an older guy. He was probably about 70 years old. He wore glasses. And he told me, it was on a Thursday afternoon when they went out there. And he said, you should have your permits by Tuesday next week. That's what he told me. And I mean, they came out there, they took measurements, they done everything they had to do, and he told me we would have our permits. And then on Monday, my son-in-law came down from Gillette, and we went up to Justin's office and we talked to him, and he said, oh yeah, you should have them tomorrow. The very next day, Killwine tried to buy us out.
We heard that, but let me say this to you, just so you understand. Mr. Nicolason suggested a meeting with you and Justin with the commissioners.
I want
This
to
better
do
be
that.
done right away because you have a time limit on this liquor license.
Yes, sir.
And the time limits run on these things that you might end up not getting your license.
But like he said, he's gonna put it on the table for now, right?
Yeah, but it can only be for just a short time. I think it's
Let's
less than
get a
30
meeting with
days.
Justin ASAP.
And
if
if you have,
tomorrow's possible.
Mr. Ross, if you have problems, you should really probably hire your own lawyer because this is kind of complicated.
I know this.
And nobody wants to take your license, nobody wants to do in your business. We want you to be a good citizen and follow the rules is all we're asking.
That's all I'm
So
trying
you've got
to
to
do.
get the right people involved, but it's going to be on you to call and Michelle over here and get a meeting set up. County Commissioner's office. Your daughter will
Okay.
know how to do that.
Okay.
Okay. Do it right away, don't waste time.
Oh, believe me, as soon as I get home, I'm gonna call my daughter and tell her she needs to set up the meeting.
Yeah, and that might be March 7th.
That would be probably the soonest, you think?
That'd be our next work session
Oh.
and meeting date.
Okay. I
Maybe we
understand.
can get Justin on the phone before that, but that's, okay.
If you want to do a work session.
Well, the chairman will get in touch with you on that. So, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Not really, just that I've complied with everything and I want to do what they want me to do. I'm trying to do everything on the level. And if I need them permits, I've been trying to get them since last summer. And I ain't been able to because every architect shuts me down. Everyone tells me the same story. I cannot touch this project. They came up with that from somewhere. And I mean, they don't all know each other, so they can't all be telling me the same thing without one entity telling them the same thing. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I just think it's that Justin has some kind of prejudice towards me because I didn't let Larry bite me out. That's what I feel. I don't know.
Well, Mr. Rojas, we'll get that, we'll get a meeting set up. and
That's-
we'll get that-
that's what we
we'll
need
get
to
that-
do
yeah,
so
we'll
we
get
can
that-
talk
yep,
it out.
Yep, and we'll get everything figured out so we move forward.
Yeah, if you guys-
It's got to be done right away. It's a
Yeah, if
short
you-
fuse, very short fuse.
If you guys could help me out to get them building permits, I'd really appreciate it, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion to table this one for Northern Dreams until March 7th.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Nicolason, second by Commissioner Laird to table this until
March 7th.
March 7th. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, we'll table this
So-
until March 7th.
And I just set up a meeting time, or?
We'll set up a meeting, we'll get a hold of you, we'll set a meeting time between now and the 7th, it'll be soon. Because personally, I would like to have that meeting with you. I'd also like to reach out to the architects you've talked to and get the reason why they are not pursuing this. And then on the 7th, we can come back and visit
Yeah, because
this
I mean,
during a work session.
for everyone to keep telling me the same thing, there's something behind it.
Yep, so if you could,
I'd
before
like
our
to.
meeting, if you could get a list of all the people that you've talked to, so that, and their contact information, so that we can contact them personally and
I
see
will
what those
do that.
reasons are.
I'll try to remember which companies I called here in town, and
Okay.
I'll write them down.
Yep, that'd be great.
And as for the meeting, you're gonna call me, because emails, I don't have a computer, and I don't get the emails.
I think we have contact for you and your daughter, so we will reach out to one of you and get that meeting
Great.
set up.
Great, as long as I know what time it is, I'll be here.
Okay, sounds great. All right, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, you all have a good evening. Drive safe, it is crazy outside.
Yep.
Thank you, Tracy.
Mr. Chairman, I don't believe there's anybody here from CC Cowboys, Inc., DBA Racks. So my thinking is that with pending litigation, we should table this till March 7th. I'd so move.
Commissioner Nicolason moves to table CC Racks until March 7th. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
And second by Commissioner North. All in favor? Any opposed?
I abstain.
Okay, that'll be moved to the 7th, or tabled till the 7th. Okay, well, I guess we have tabled those, so our public hearing is now closed, and we will move on to public comments. Any public comments? We did them all? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we did all 14.
We did them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do one.
Yeah.
We're good. Good evening.
Good evening. Mike Pyatt, 3841 East 15th Street. I think I've had at least some experience with nearly everyone up there except Commissioner Friel, and I remember you from the City Council.
Yep.
So I'm here on behalf of the idea of a chaplain for the county commissioners. Commissioner Laird and I have talked about this off and on. I do recall in 2018, let's see, I think it was 2018, the Natrona County GOP party, for the very first time, I think, historically, had a chaplain. I was that chaplain for a few months. Subsequently, I went up and worked for the Ravalli County Commissioners for about a year. But the basis of the chaplain is, for the most part, in the public sector, is pretty common, and the duties are similar. So there's a long history. I think the first prayer was 1774. 1789 was the first official chaplain, so there's a good history for it. Now, I guess the question is not only what a chaplain does, and invocation, opening public meetings, that's fairly common. I think the real advantage and benefit for a public organization, in my experience, is when things run smooth, whether it's commissioners or another body, and you're all in agreement, that's a good time. That's when a chaplain can be a real benefit, to invoke God's blessing and wisdom. So unless somebody is completely secular, we see the benefit of a chaplain, not just in Congress, but a lot of organizations. So, chaplain not only has the invocation for a public meeting, generally, in a public setting, they also advise that particular body on issues that may come up. Wisdom, Scripture promises, if we seek wisdom, says the Lord gives it liberally. So, we can count on it. And at times when there's not just issues for commissioners, but maybe in the town, some things that are going on in the county, the chaplain can be called upon to give advice, spiritual advice, and wisdom. So the benefit, I think, is not just the commissioners, but the county. Also, in some organizations, the chaplain provides spiritual counseling for employees or staff, and that depends on the organization. So, most chaplains' duties are derived from, in my opinion, and what we did at the GOP, is derived from Scripture. The long history of the chaplain in the U.S. Congress has always been a Christian. So from a biblical perspective, I would give advice on that. A chaplain should be non-sectarian, nonpartisan, shouldn't have anything to do with the politics of the day. So I would encourage you just to entertain the idea. I've been a Christian for almost 50 years. And I've seen the benefit of wise counsel. And so I think I sent you a job description, didn't I? That we developed at the GOP. And my friend here was an advocate, if I remember at the time, when we were looking at the job description. There were a few people, I think, opposed to the idea, but Peter was, I think, an advocate at that time and found reasons to support it. So, any questions? Even if I'm about out of time, but
1 second.
Perfect.
anything
Thank you.
you'd like
No
to ask?
questions.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks
thanks,
for
sir.
your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good evening, Commissioners. I have a whole list, but I'll just ask you one question. I was just kind of curious. Anything about the bridle trail? I know it's been debated for years with the Mr. Chrisman. The last I heard, it was going to the lawyers to work it out. It was supposed to be crossing Mr. Chrisman's land. Do you know anything about it? I know several of you knew. Somebody asked me about it the other day, and I was just wondering if you had any answers, if it's solved yet.
What's your name and address? I recognize your face from all the pictures downstairs.
Well,
Mr. Wingerter, it's nice to see you again. I would certainly allow our county attorney to correct me or to supplement, but I think that there was some back and forth. I think that there was a draft that was put together that I personally found unacceptable, and I think that there were some additional conversations between our former county attorney. I'm not sure if there have been with our acting county attorney and Mr. Ford, who represents Mr. Chrisman. But I don't think that either side has been pressing that very much in the last few months.
okay, well, that's some information. They just asked me about it the other day. I guess I can ask you, if I may, can I ask you one other question? Or concern, I guess. There's a lady that called me here a couple months ago. I see her periodically around town. Her name is Helen Wolf. And she said that she just donated $250,000 for a statue at the fairgrounds. And she was saying, not one county commissioner called me to thank me. Now, I don't know anything about it. Maybe you guys know something about it, but I'm just telling you what she told me.
Commissioner North?
Terry, I have been in contact with Helen, and we're waiting for her to get the small sculpture in. And as soon as she does, she's supposed to give us a call, and we're going to get her on the work session so she can show us what it is. But we have been in contact with her, and we're waiting for Chris Navarro to get everything finished up.
Yeah.
So we are aware of it. I have contacted her and I have talked to her about it. And
Okay,
so-
that's fine. She just asked me.
Yep.
She just made a comment, you know, about.
I've called her too, Terry. I've talked to her twice and had a long chat with her and thanked her because she is a great person and she's doing something really wonderful for the community. In fact, I talked to the former chairman of the fairgrounds, and they're going to put it right in the front, right in the very front entrance when they get
Sure.
it. Still being made by Chris Navarro, and it's going to be a wonderful thing that she did and a wonderful thing for our community.
Well, I appreciate it. She's in my Kiwanis Club, and maybe, you know, she told me this a couple months ago, so I wasn't sure if anybody got back to her or not. So, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, we'll go to commissioner comments. Commissioner Nicolason.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have been hearing from a lot of people in the county about their roads. I know that Mr. Hagler is working overtime himself and all his people, and they're doing everything they can. We've been hearing about this most current storm for the better part of a week, and now it's on us. So I just hope and pray everybody is safe and that they take the necessary precautions and don't risk it. If they don't need to be patient. I know the Road and Bridge will continue doing everything they can, and the sheriff's office as well. But anyway, we just hope for everybody's safety, and that's it. Thanks.
Commissioner Laird.
I agree with what Mr. Necklace said. I know our grounds crew and our road and bridge crew and Mr. Hagler are working overtime and have been for a long time. This is some of the most terrible weather we've had, and I think given what's happening, Wyoming wind is pretty hard to defeat. I don't know too many people that have defeated it, but they've kept up with it. So I'm really happy with what's happening out there in terms of the effort being put forth. I'm not happy about the wind, which I love dearly, and the snow, which I love dearly, and it comes for a reason. And I really appreciate our longtime employees because it says something about the people they work for and the people they supervise, because Natrona County is a great place to work. It's a great place to live, and I'm proud to be here.
Commissioner North.
Well, I agree with everything so far. When it gets bad enough that the governor requests from the USDA to declare a state of emergency because of the livestock and the problems that we have, there has been a lot of problems with the snow this year and the weather. And I do personally know, because I've gone out with Mike Hagler and looked at some of the spots and looked at some of the drifts and everything else. And it is, when you go through and you plow out something and it blows in before you can even get back through it, and there's a real problem. Hopefully, spring's not too far away. I think somebody ought to shoot the groundhog. So, but besides that, I do just ask everybody to be patient with the county. They have been working literally 7 days a week, and even Mike Hagler's been out there pretty much every day. And so you don't see that commitment from a lot of supervisors and everything else. And those guys have been doing the best job they can, and I just ask that everybody be patient with them. On a different note, I did have an opportunity to go back with NACO last week to Washington, D.C., and not only meet commissioners from around the country, but also to have some time with the Wyoming constituents that we have, the commissioners from different parts of the state. And the good part about that is that I actually have an opportunity to sit down and talk to some of our administration, our current administration staff, and they didn't ask if I was Republican, they didn't ask if I was a Democrat, but the things that were brought up we could talk about, because they're not just one state issues, they're regional issues, and there's a lot of things that I felt like they didn't fall on deaf ears, and if you'd made a phone call or something else, then it would have been a different situation. So that part was good. I did enjoy that. I did enjoy getting to talk to different commissioners from around the country and getting a different perspective on what their problems are and how they relate to ours here, and how we can come up with solutions. So that's something that was it was a good opportunity. It was a good learning experience. And if nothing else, I learned that I don't want to live in DC. So other than that, thanks.
Just going to hit on the weather. Obviously, this storm coming in, discussions over the weekend was it was going to range anywhere from 6 to 16 inches down here, where I live, a lot more. But anyways, I guess just to reiterate that if people are at home and the weather's bad and you don't think you can come in, then if you don't have to come in, stay at home. And vice versa, if you're headed home, and especially if you're headed out to a rural area, and you come across a drift or something like that, I wouldn't try and go through it, because if you get stuck, getting the sheriff out there to help you out is probably going to take a little bit of time. I've been talking to Mike Hagler today. They worked real hard on Poison Spider today, got quite a bit of the road open, but there's still plenty of it that's drifted in. So that's not going to open up anytime soon. That's been one of the biggest problems we've had in the last few weeks. He said Pathfinder looks like it may be closed down tomorrow too, just due to the weather itself. And he'll just keep us updated on as this storm progresses. So we'll know first thing in the morning what direction we all go and whether we all show up for work or we stay home and shovel. So that's all I've got for tonight. So I guess we will then just stand adjourned. Thank you.